Good morning, this is Ashley. One of the strange and very unpleasant parts of going through a trial or a grief is the fact that it is chosen for us. We didn't choose it. Whether it's a shock or a trauma or a sudden death or a switch in what's normal, suddenly normal is gone. And we're placed into a situation or a headspace or a season that we would have never chosen for ourselves and that is out of our control. This morning, as I was reading the book of Daniel, I thought about his story because he was kidnapped and he was placed into a foreign land. He was given a name that wasn't his name. Everything that he would have thought as normal was snatched away from him. He didn't know what to do, but his eyes were only on God. He was even forced to eat food that he didn't want to eat and take a name that wasn't his name. And of course, he didn't want to eat that food. It was against his beliefs. And so he received favor from God in order to eat just vegetables and not defile himself because they had so many dietary laws where he had come from. So he did get to retain that one grace. But the king, Nebuchadnezzar, he was crazy, and he was tormented by dreams. And there was a situation where he had a nightmare and it troubled him. It couldn't leave his mind. And he had all these wise men and magicians that would be the ones that would, give guidance to his life. And so he asked them, he gathered them up and asked them, like, tell me my dream and the interpretation. And he didn't just mean tell me the interpretation, because that could be made up and that would be common. A king would give a nightmare. You didn't want to give bad news to a king. I'm sure that something about don't shoot the messenger came from this type of situation where you didn't want to give bad news to the king. And so, when he gave his nightmare, it would have been very easy to give some good interpretation to try to tickle his ears and give a prediction of prosperity or some good news. And the king was wise to that. And so he said, no, I'm not telling you my dream. You have to tell me what I dreamed, and you have to interpret it for me. And if not, I'm going to tear you from limb to limb. But if you do it, I'll give you all kinds of wealth and prosperity and honor. And so all the wise men and sages were like, okay, yeah, tell us your dream and we'll give you the interpretation. It's just like, oh no. And he said, no, you're just trying to buy time. You tell me my dream and the interpretation. And they couldn't do that, of course. And they said, King, you're asking for something that no human can do. So it's like they didn't really have supernatural power. Maybe they had some ways to fake it, and maybe they had some dark supernatural power, but the Bible says no one knows the thoughts of a man except a man's spirit within him. They couldn't read his mind. And so he issued a decree to go kill all the wise men and sages. It's like, well, nobody here can do what I want. You guys are a bunch of fakers. I'm going to kill you all. So Daniel and his companions, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and there was one more, I can't remember, but they were going to fall under this decree as well. And Daniel, he prayed to the Lord, and then it says that he talked with wisdom and prudence to, like, the go-betweens, him and the king. And he went and he prayed to God. And I love his prayer because God gave Daniel the answer. God gave Daniel Nebuchadnezzar's dream and a vision. And listen to Daniel's prayer. Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, to whom belong wisdom and might. He changes times and seasons. He removes kings and sets up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. He reveals deep and hidden things. He knows what is in the darkness, and light dwells with him. To you, O God of my fathers, I give thanks and praise, for you have given me wisdom and might, and now have made known to me what we asked of you, for you've made known to us the king's matter. The one thing that characterizes grief, because grief can be a million different things, and it's different per person. But the one thing that characterizes it is a sense of darkness, the unknown. You're going into something you don't know. And that is where Daniel was at too. I mean, his particular grief, oh, I'm sure he had trauma. To be kidnapped from your home and to be placed into a foreign land as a slave, essentially. But he said right here, he knows what is in the darkness. You may feel like you are walking into darkness right now and something you don't understand and you don't know what is going to be in there. But God knows the darkness is not dark to him. The night shines like the day to him, for darkness is as light to him, and he himself is light. When he's with you in your grief, he brings light, and it may be light only for the next hour, maybe only for the next minute. He carries you through the valley of the shadow of death. Yesterday, I had 83 conversations at work, and a lot of those were characterized by heartache and grief and not knowing the future, because we don't. Our knowledge is finite. Friday, someone at church gave a great verse. They spoke, I can't remember where it was in Chronicles, but it was, we don't know what to do, but our eyes are on you, Lord. So I just wanted to share that today. I don't know what particular darkness you may carry. You may be even working for somebody that's like Nebuchadnezzar, who wants you to read their mind. And so your life is feeling pretty heavy right now because you can't. And what they want is just like, what? I can't read your mind. But God, he's able to give you wisdom, prudence, discretion, favor, even with somebody like that, until he moves you to a different place. But the bottom line is, your darkness is not dark to him. And you may not know what to do, but if you cry out to him, he will carry you through this. And it won't always feel this way. And in the meantime, you might want to read the book of Daniel. It's full of good things.